Hello. Good morning. So crazy. Good morning. Good morning. I'm a minute behind. Please forgive me. But thank you for joining me this morning. Jump in on the comments. Say hello. Say how you're doing today. Good morning. Hi, Kathy. I can see your name again today. Fabulous. Good morning. Jump in, ladies. We're gonna start praying and reading in just a couple minutes. Kara Gordon, good morning. Hi, Barbara. Good morning, friends. Thanks for jumping on. So appreciate you being here. I'm super excited to read with you this morning. And we are 1 week away from Thanksgiving. A little bit more than a week, but next week is Thanksgiving week. What are you thankful for? Drop it in the comments if there's something that you want to say thank you for. Good morning, Cecilia. Yeah, I am thankful for quite a bit. For quite a bit of things. For sure. Thankful for being able to create more with my sisters. Yeah. Good morning, Barbara. Yeah, one of my favorite things, one of the things I'm thankful for right now is being able to create more with my sisters. It's really fun. We love doing it together. Yeah. So, I don't see any prayer requests, but as always, if you have a prayer request and you don't happen to get it in now before I start praying, that's okay. Just drop it in the comments and I will pray for you after this is over. Okay? I'll go back and read your comments. So, yeah, I'm going to pray generally. Oh, I see a prayer request. Hey. Of course I'll pray for your son, Barbara. No worries. Good morning, Lucy and Facebook user from Ohio. And Kelly, good morning. I'm going to start praying. So, there's my Stephanie. I was looking for you. There's my Merry Monday girl. Okay, so, dear Jesus, thank you for this morning. Thank you that you woke me up this morning and that I get to read with these amazing warrior women. Papa, I pray that you'd help me to enunciate and speak clearly as we read your word today. I thank you for the amazing blessings that you have given to me and to the women that are watching this live right now, Lord. I pray that you'd help us to count them, not just during this month of November, but also throughout the whole year, that we continue to be thankful and praise you for the goodness that you've done for us. Lord, I pray for Barbara's son, Father, that he will recover from COVID right now, Papa. I pray that you would help him and to have a swift recovery, and that he would get he would just know that it's okay to take time to take care of his body, and that it's going to be okay, and that you're going to heal him in Jesus' name. Lord, I also pray for, there's another one. I missed that one. Okay. I thank you for her grandma is doing much better after the surgery. Thank you, Papa. And I pray for Giselle's father-in-law, that he has a swift recovery after his surgery, and that you'd help her mother-in-law to strengthen her to help him and helping in taking care of him. Thank you that he has her beside him. And I'm just going to check to make sure I didn't miss any. And Lord, I pray for Cecilia that you give her clarity on making a decision and commitment, Father. And, I see another one. Okay, Lord, I pray for, for John David to seek you, Lord, for wisdom, patience, and faith. And I pray for Jane's neighbor, Gary, Lord, that you would just comfort him and help him, allow him to grieve and to love and to be able to mourn his son, and that the family around him would come together, Father, to comfort him as well. But you would just bring him peace, Father, in this time. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, I gotta get started on reading. Okay? But yes, ladies, jump in, cover our girls with some prayers, please. Today we're going to be reading 2 Kings 12 through 15. Grab your beverage of your choice. I'm drinking water because, need to hydrate my voice so I can read. Okay. So right there. There we go. Yeah. Okay, I will definitely come back and pray for more of these things. You guys are amazing. I opened my eyes to look at a couple, and then there was so much more. I love it. Thank you for giving me things to pray for. Okay, so 2 Kings chapter 12 through 15. Let's go. Hey, Jane, no beating yourself up. No, thank you. Even I am catching up on some of my readings that I missed. So don't beat yourself up. Let's stay current and then catch up, okay? Use those Sundays. Use those extra hours in your day when you know that, hey, I can listen to something while I'm doing the dishes, whatever it is, okay? You got this, girl. Okay, so do I. I get to catch up too. So, 2 Kings 12, verse 1. In the 7th year of Jehu, Jehoash became king, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zibiah of Beersheba. Jehoash did what was right in the sight of the Lord all the days in which Jehoiada the priest instructed him. But the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. And Jehoash said to the priests, all the money of the dedicated gifts that are brought into the house of the Lord, each man's census money, each man's assessment money, and all the money that a man purposes in his heart to bring into the house of the Lord, let the priests take it themselves, each from his constituency. Constituency. That's the way to say it. From his constituency, and let them repair the damages of the temple, wherever any dilapidation is found. Now it was so, by the 23rd year of King Jehoash, that the priests had not repaired the damages of the temple. So King Jehoash called Jehoiada the priest and the other priests, and said to them, why have you not repaired the damages of the temple? Now therefore, do not take more money from your constituency, but deliver it for repairing the damages of the temple. And the priest agreed that they would neither receive more money from the people, nor repair the damages of the temple. Then Jehoiada the priest took a chest, bored a hole in its lid, and set it beside the altar. On the right side, as one comes into the house of the Lord, on the right side, as one comes into the house of the Lord. Oh, wow. Wow, that's really bad. Okay, verse 9. Then Jehoiada the priest took a chest, he bored a hole in its lid, and set it beside the altar, on the right side, as one comes into the house of the Lord. And the priest who kept the door put there all the money brought into the house of the Lord. So it was, whenever they saw that there was much money in the chest, that the king's scribe and the high priest came up and put it in bags, and counted the money that was found in the house of the Lord. Then they gave the money which had been apportioned into the hands of those who did the work, who had the oversight of the house of the Lord. And they paid it out to the carpenters and builders who worked on the house of the Lord, and to the masons and stonecutters, and for buying timber and hewn stone, to repair the damage of the house of the Lord. And for all that was paid out to repair the temple. However, there were not made for the house of the Lord basins of silver, trimmers, sprinkling bowls, trumpets, any articles of gold or articles of silver, from the money brought into the house of the Lord. But they gave that to the workmen, and they repaired the house of the Lord with it. Moreover, they did not require an account from the men into whose hand they delivered the money to be paid to the workmen, for they dealt faithfully. The money from the trespass offering and the money from the sin offering was not brought into the house of the Lord. It belonged to the priests. Okay, cool. I thought Jehoiada was like, he made a hole in the chest to like let the money like leak out into like a bag or something. But I was wrong. See? Can't judge too quickly. But they actually are now choosing to repair the temple. Awesome. So, verse 17, 12:17. Hazael, king of Syria, went up and fought against Gath, and took it. Then Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem, and Jehoash, king of Judah, took all the sacred things that his fathers Jehoshaphat and Jehoram and Ahaziah, king of Judah, had dedicated, and his own sacred things, and all the gold found in the treasuries of the house of the Lord, and in the king's house. And he sent them to Hazael, king of Syria. Then Hazael went away from Jerusalem. Now the rest of the acts of Joash and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And his servants arose and formed a conspiracy, and killed Joash in the house of the Millo, which goes down to Silla. For Jozachar, the son of Shimeath, and Jehozabad, the son of Shomer, his servant, struck him. So he died, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. Then Amaziah, his son, reigned in his place. In the 23rd year, chapter 13. I need to get water. Yeah, literally he literally gave up all of his treasures because he felt that that Hazael was going to go take over Jerusalem. So that's one way to bring about peace. Okay, let me go back to see who jumped on. Hi, good morning, Nikki. Yeah, they didn't have the bulldozers back then, but they should have, huh? Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, friends. Okay, let me take one more sip. Alrighty. Okay, 2 Kings, chapter 13. Verse 1. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, became king over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 17 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. He did not depart from them. Then the anger of the Lord was aroused against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. So Jehoahaz pleaded with the Lord, and the Lord listened to him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them. Then the Lord gave Israel a deliverer, so that they escaped from under the hand of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before. Nevertheless, they did not depart from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who had made Israel sin, but walked in them. And the wooden image also remained in Samaria. For he left of the army of Jehoahaz only 50 horsemen, 10 chariots, and 10,000 foot soldiers. For the king of Syria had destroyed them, and made them like the dust at threshing. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz, all that he did, and his might, Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Jehoahaz rested with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria. Then Joash, his son, reigned in his place. In the 37th year of Joash, king of Judah, Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, became king over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 16 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, but he walked in them. Now the rest of the acts of Joash, all that he did, and his might with which he fought against Amaziah king of Judah, are they not written in the books of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Joash rested with his fathers. Then Jeroboam sat on his throne, and Joash was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. The death of Elisha. Elisha had become sick, with the illness of which he would die. Then Joash the king of Israel came down to him, and wept over his face, and said, O my father, the chariots of Israel and their horsemen. And Elisha said to him, Take a bow and some arrows. So he took himself a bow and some arrows. Then Elisha said to the king of Israel, Put your hand on the bow. So he put his hand on it, and Elisha put his hand on the king's hands. And he said, Open the east window. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, Shoot. And the king shot. And Elisha said, The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and for the arrow of deliverance from Syria. For you must strike the Syrians at Aphek, till you have destroyed them. Then Elisha said, Take the arrows. So he took them. And Elisha said to the king of Israel, Strike the ground. So he struck 3 times and stopped. And the man of God was angry with him. Elisha got mad. And he said, You should have struck 5 or 6 times. Then you would have struck Syria till you had destroyed it. But now you will strike Syria only 3 times. Then Elisha died, and they buried him. And the raiding bands from Moab invaded the land in the spring of the year. So it was, as they were burying a man, that suddenly they spied a band of raiders. And they put the man in the tomb of Elisha. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elisha... Whoa. Wait a minute. Then Elisha died, and they buried him. And the raiding bands from Moab invaded the land in the spring of the year. So it was, as they were burying a man, that suddenly they spied a band of raiders. And they put the man in the tomb of Elisha. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood on his feet. Wow. So the man that they were burying touched Elijah's bones and he revived. That's, wow, okay. I didn't think I read that clearly, but I did. Okay, verse 13:22. And Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. But the Lord was gracious to them, had compassion on them, and regarded them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he would not yet destroy them or cast them from his presence. Now Hazael, king of Syria, died. Then Ben-Hadad, his son, reigned in his place. And Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, recaptured from the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, the cities which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoahaz his father by war. 3 times Joash defeated him and recaptured the cities of Israel. Okay, chapter 14. I know, right? This totally references the dry bones. Yeah, what are my high places? So good, Kara. Yeah, Elisha's pretty cool. Actually, Elijah and Elisha are really, really cool people, I think. Okay, moving on to chapter 14. Here we go. Amaziah reigns in Judah. Chapter 14, verse 1. In the second year of Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, became king. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoiadan of Jerusalem, and he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like his father David. He did everything as his father Joash had done. However, the high places were not taken away, and the people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. Now it happened, as soon as the kingdom was established in his hand, that he executed his servants, who had murdered his father the king. But the children of the murderers he did not execute, according to what is written in the book of the law of Moses, in which the Lord commanded, saying, Fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor shall children be put to death for their fathers. But a person shall be put to death for his own sin. He killed 10,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt, and took Selah by war, and called its name Joktheel to this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us face one another in battle. And Jehoash, king of Israel, sent to Amaziah, king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar. The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar tree that was in Lebanon, saying, Give your daughter to my son as wife. And a wild beast that was in Lebanon passed by and trampled the thistle. You indeed defeated Edom, and your heart has lifted you up. Glory in that, and stay at home. For why should you meddle with trouble so that you fall, you and Judah with you? Remember, Israel has like 10 tribes, and Judah only has like 2. So he's like, you're a thistle compared to me. I'm a cedar tree. But Amaziah would not heed. Therefore Jehoash, king of Israel, went out. So he and Amaziah, king of Judah, faced one another at Beth Shemesh, which belongs to Judah. And Judah was defeated by Israel, and every man fled to his tent. Then Jehoash, king of Israel, captured Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Jehoash, the son of Ahaziah, at Bethshemesh. And he went to Jerusalem, and broke down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim to the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver, all the articles that were found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasuries of the king's house, and hostages, and returned to Samaria. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoash, which he did, his might, and how he fought with Amaziah, king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Jehoash rested with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Then Jeroboam, his son, reigned in his stead. Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, lived 15 years after the death of Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel. Now the rest of the acts of Amaziah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And they formed a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. But they sent after him to Lachish and killed him there. Then they brought him on horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all the people of Judah took Azariah, who was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father, Amaziah. He built Elath and restored it to Judah after the king rested with his fathers. Jeroboam II reigns in Israel. In the 15th year, verse 23, in the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam the son of Joash, king of Israel, became king in Samaria, and reigned 41 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and he did not depart from all the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. He restored the territory of Israel from the entrance of Hamath to the sea of the Arabah, according to the word of the Lord God of Israel, which he had spoken through his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet who was from Gath Hepher. For the Lord saw that the affliction of Israel was very bitter, and whether bond or free, there was no helper for Israel. And the Lord did not say that he would blot out the name of Israel from under heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam, the son of Joash. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam and all that he did, his might, how he had made war, and how he recaptured for Israel, from Damascus and Hamath, what had belonged to Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Jeroboam rested with his fathers, the kings of Israel. Then Zechariah, his son, reigned in his place. Okay, one more chapter. Chapter 15. Oh my goodness, Cecilia, you're so kind. Thank you. I so appreciate your feedback. That really, really blesses me. Because that's something I really want to make sure that I'm speaking at a great volume and at a great pace for you guys, so thank you. Yes, people kept turning to idols. Yeah. The idols are the part of the abomination of the high places. Yeah. Nikki, I love that too. Of course, like to this day. And so it was to this day. Yes. It is a little confusing. Jane, I get confused too. But right now, the current kings that we just read about are Jeroboam, that he's of Israel, and the other king is actually no, Zechariah, his son, took his place just now, and the other king of Judah is Azariah. So right now Azariah is king of Judah and Zechariah is king of Israel, if I'm on the right track. Okay, so we're gonna do chapter 15. It's our last one. Okay, here we go. Verse 1. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Azariah, the son of Amaziah, king of Judah, became king. He was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. Wow. His mother's name was Jecholiah of Jerusalem, and he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah had done, except that the high places were not removed. The people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. Then the Lord struck the king, so that he was a leper until the day of his death. So he dwelt in an isolated house, and Jotham, the king's son, was over the royal house, judging the people of the land. Now the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Azariah rested with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. Then Jotham, his son, reigned in his stead. In the 38th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Zechariah the son of Jeroboam reigned over Israel in Samaria 6 months. Oof. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, as his father had done. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. Then Shallum the son of Jabesh conspired against him, and struck him and killed him in front of the people, and he reigned in his place. Now the rest of the acts of Zechariah, indeed, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. This was the word of the Lord which he spoke to Jehu, saying, Your sons shall sit on the throne of Israel to the 4th generation. Your sons shall sit on the throne of Israel to the 4th generation. And so it was. Man, can you imagine only having 6 months to reign? Wow. Versus Azariah had 52 years to reign. Wow. Okay, chapter 15, verse 13. Shallum, the son of Jabesh, became king in the 39th year of Uzziah, king of Judah. And he reigned a full month in Samaria. For Meenahem, the son of Gotti, went up from Tirzah, came to Samaria, and struck Shallum, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria, and killed him, and he reigned in his place. Now the rest of the acts of Shallum, and the conspiracy which he led, indeed they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. Then from Tirzah, Meenahem attacked Tifsa, all who were there and its territory, because they did not surrender. Therefore he attacked it. All the women there who were with child he ripped open. Wow. In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Meenahem, the son of Gotti, became king over Israel, and he reigned 10 years in Samaria. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart all his days from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. Pul, king of Assyria, came against the land, and Meenahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to strengthen the kingdom under his control. And Meenahem exacted the money from Israel, from all the very wealthy, from each man 50 shekels of silver to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back and did not stay there in the land. Now the rest of the acts of Meenahem and all that he did, are they not written in the books of the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Meenahem rested with his fathers. Then Pekahiah his son reigned in his place. In the 50th year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekahiah the son of Meenahem became king over Israel in Samaria, and he reigned 2 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. Then Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and an officer of his conspired against the king and killed him in Samaria, in the citadel of the king's house, along with Argob and Ariah. And with him were 50 men of Gilead. He killed the king and reigned in his place. Now the rest of the acts of Pekahiah and all that he did, indeed they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 52nd year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekah the son of Remaliah became king over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 20 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin, in the days of Pekah king of Israel. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, verse 29, Tiglath-Pileser, the king of Assyria, came and took Ijon, Abel-Beth-Maachah, Genoa, Kadesh, Hazor, Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali. And he carried them captive to Assyria. Then Hoshea, the son of Elah, led a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and struck and killed him. So Hoshea reigned in his place in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. Now the rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, indeed they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did what was right in the sight of the Lord. He did according to all that his father Uzziah had done. However, the high places were not removed. The people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. He built the upper gate of the house of the Lord. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? In those days the Lord began to send Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, against Judah. So Jotham rested with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. Then Ahaz, his son, reigned in his place. Okay, that's the end of chapter 15 and our chapters for today. Thank you so much for reading with me. I hope you enjoyed today's chapters. Please share what stood out to you. And if you have any prayer requests, don't worry. I'm going to come back and read your comments and pray for you, okay? Thank you so much for reading with me today. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you, friend. It is exciting. Really exciting to learn the patterns and the habits of what happens when you choose to be faithful or dishonorable or honorable. All the kings that are following after Jeroboam seem to be having conspiracies turned against them and keep getting assassinated. So it's really, really interesting to see how that history kept repeating itself. Wow. Okay. Chapter 15 says King of Israel. Oh, does it really? Oh, okay, yeah, remember, so that's the thing. So remember there's 2 Jeroboams. So the second Jeroboam is the king of Israel at the moment, and then Azariah is becoming king of Judah, because remember there's 2 kingdoms. Israel divides into 2 kingdoms, and so there's a king of Israel and then there's a king of Judah, which is David's tribe, basically. David's place. So there's 2 kings of the Israelites right now, because Israel is divided into 2 kingdoms. So now it's Israel and Judah. Hopefully that makes sense, friend. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. My pleasure. My pleasure. Have a blessed day to you as well, Giselle. Yeah, some of these kings were really young. 16, 25. Some of them were 7. I think the first Jehoash was 7 years old. Yeah. Yeah, Cecilia, have a great one. You're welcome, Stephanie. Yeah, Judah's down here and Israel's up here. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jane. My pleasure. I love being on here with you too. Yes. This is your first time here? Oh my goodness, thank you for joining. I don't see your name, but friend, next time allow StreamYard to say what your name is, okay? So I can know what your name is. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. It says Jeroboam is Azariah's son. No, actually, for my version, it actually says, Kara, it says Azariah, the son of Amaziah, king of Judah. It looks like it says it, but yeah, it's maybe there's not missing a typo or something. Yeah, so mine says, in the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Azariah, the son of Amaziah, king of Judah, became king. But I'm reading the New King James Version, so maybe it's different than yours. Anyways, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you off. It's been 40 minutes. Oh my goodness. I gotta let you go, okay? See you next Monday at 6 a.m. PST. Bye.